Good morning, children. Today, let us discuss about a double displacement reaction. Definition is on the screen. It is a reaction in which radicals are exchanged. Radicals are exchanged or interchanged. This is the main point you have to remember for the examination point of view. What is meant by radicals? Every compound has got two radical, one positive radical and one negative radical. In this representation, you will find AB is reacting with the CD forms AD and CB. Just see how the reaction took place. The positive radical of the first compound is combining with the negative radical of the second one, and the same way positive radical of the second one combines with the negative radical of the first one. Radicals are interchanging or exchanging takes place here. So every compound has got two particles. The first particle, positive particle or radical, we call it this one we call it a cation, and the second one we call it anion. So these cations are and anions are interchanging their places. Let me take another example. Here is another colorful presentation. In this presentation, I think things are clear for you. The first radical, positive radical, is combining with the negative radical of the second compound, that is AD is forming. The same way, second positive radical of combining with the first negative radical and combining and forms CB. This is how the reaction takes place in a double decomposition reaction. Let us see what are the different types of a double decomposition reaction. There are mainly two types of a double decomposition reaction. First one is called a neutralization reaction, and second is called a precipitation reaction. Two types. First one is neutralization and second is precipitation reaction. Let us discuss one by one in detail. The first one, neutralization. In neutralization reaction, an acid is reacting with a base to form salt and water. Very simple reaction. It's a reaction between an acid and a base to form salt and water. Just see this diagram which I have given on the right side. Here you will find very clearly an acid is combining with a base, and in conical flask you are getting the product salt and water. Two reactions I have given as an example here. In the first example, you will see sodium hydroxide is reacting with the hydrochloric acid, forms NaCl and water. Let us see how double decomposition reaction takes place in this. This sodium is combining with the chlorine. Radicals are exchanged here, and from the center water is formed, and salts of course NaCl and water. And in second case, potassium is combining with the sulfate. Compounds are interchanging their radicals, and here reaction takes place like this. In this way, potassium sulfate and water are formed. I think it is clear for you. Now the second type of double decomposition reaction is called a precipitation reaction. Precipitation. What do you mean by precipitate? Here you will find a diagram in which you will find 4 test tubes, and all the 4 test tubes you will find some color, something is visible there. After a reaction, if a product is visible in the test tube, that clearly shows that the product is insoluble. Here you will find a white insoluble product. Here you will find yellow. Again, the last two cases, white insoluble product. Insoluble product is called a precipitate. In chemistry, we call insoluble product as a precipitate. Now let us see what is the definition. It's a reaction in which two compounds in their aqueous state means with water, react to form an insoluble product. Remember, this is the main point you have to remember. Insoluble product. In chemistry, we call an insoluble product as a precipitate. Such a reaction is called a precipitation reaction. Remember this diagram in your mind always, so that when the word precipitate comes in front of you, you will automatically come to know what it is. Now, here there are two examples. In the first one, barium chloride is reacting with the sodium sulfate and forms barium sulfate and NaCl. See how the double decomposition reaction takes place here. Barium is combining with the sulfate and forms BaSO4, and sodium is combining with the chlorine and forms NaCl, the second product. Reaction is not balanced. Balancing of reaction I am leaving on you. You need to practice. Then the second example, you will find silver nitrate is reacting with sodium chloride, forms AgCl and NaNO3, sodium nitrate. See how the reaction. Silver, the first radical, is combining with the negative radical chlorine and forms AgCl, and second positive radical sodium is combining with the NO3 and forms sodium nitrate here. And just see here, I placed two downward arrow sign. This downward arrow sign shows that the products are insoluble. Insoluble product we call in chemistry as a precipitate. So precipitate is represented by a downward arrow sign. I think it is clear for you children. Thank you.